Did you know that just to change the oil on a Goldwing costs you close to $100 or more at a dealer? You can do a lot of these simple tasks yourself. Beams to install it. Now I'm choosing to install my pathBlazer on the high beams, so that the way these will work is when I turn on my high beam switch, the high beams will modulate. My low beams will work just like they always do. Okay, the high beam light bulbs on the Goldwing are kind of situated behind this panel here. Now on your pre-2012 Goldwing, you've got a glove box here that's a little easier to remove. On the 2012 model, we have to actually remove this trim piece here, and then we're going to have to remove this little kind of headlight and preload adjuster control panel so that we can get back to the right high beam. The first step is we're going to remove this little trim piece and then see what we have to do to get back to that high beam bulb. There is a single 8mm bolt just next to the radiator cap that holds the bottom bracket in place, and another 8mm bolt attached to a cable strap on top of the bracket. Using an 8mm socket, you can remove these two bolts and set the bolts off to the side. With the bolts removed, you can now jiggle the unit and carefully maneuver it around the cables to lift it toward the back of the motorcycle so it kind of stands up on its end and it's out of your way. This will allow you enough room for your hand to get into the front of the fairing to get to the back of the headlight bulbs. There should be enough room now where you can reach up behind the headlight bulb and remove the plug and cable from the back of the bulb. The pathBlazer module will install on the plug, and then both of those will be inserted over the prongs on the headlight bulb socket. Before reinstalling the headlight plug, now is a good time to mount the light sensor and run the wires to the right side fairing pocket. Kisan includes hardware to allow you to flush mount the daylight sensor, but I've chosen to simply cable tie it to the cables running down the right hand handlebar. As you can see from the video, I've got this plugged in. This is the headlight connector, and I've plugged the master unit into that. Now we're just going to take our wire that we ran through earlier, and we're going to plug this into the top of this master unit. With the daylight sensor inserted into the module, you're now ready to connect the headlight plug and pathBlazer assembly to the back of the headlight bulb socket. Only 2 of the 3 connectors on the pathBlazer are used, since the headlight bulb socket only has 2 prongs. You can now remove the plug from the bulb. Next, you'll need to route the wire that goes to the slave unit from the daylight sensor around the steering head and over and into the bottom of the glove box area. This graphic shows how the wire can be routed around the steering head and up through the bottom of the glove box opening so that you can attach it to the pathBlazer slave unit. The pathBlazer slave module connects exactly like the master. Simply plug it into the headlight plug. Then connect the daylight sensor wire that you just ran to the left side glove box into the opening on the slave unit. Now you're ready to reconnect the plug to the back of the headlight bulb socket. This diagram shows how the pathBlazer fits in between the headlight bulb socket and the plug. Okay, well I did get this slave unit hooked up to the back of the left side high beam. I got everything reconnected. I turned the bike on, checked the high beams, and guess what? The modulators do work. So I'm going to show it to you here in a little bit, but before I do, I think we're going to go ahead and start putting everything back together. Hey, look at these things. You think these don't stand out? Now when I come down the street, I know that other drivers are going to have an easier time seeing me coming because of the pathBlazers installed in my Goldwing. Listen, it's all about safety. You can't be too rich, you can't be too thin, and you can't have too much light on your Goldwing.